Welcome to Seymour from the Front Pew podcast, coming to you from the broadcast studio at Seymour First Baptist Church in Seymour, Tennessee, and featuring thoughts and discussions around loving God, loving others, making disciples, and living the life. I am your host, Tiger Brooks, and now, on to the podcast. I have to begin by giving our illustrious pastor his flowers. You all don't know this. Of course.
I can buy myself flowers.
So I was sitting at home the other night, and he comes up with this text to Beth Smith and myself, because we've been collaborating some on the website and kind of a remake that Beth's doing a great job. Well, Beth's going to be on here soon. Yeah, I think while Corey and I are gone, I think the fellas are going to have Beth on here for a podcast. If you don't know Beth, she's great. She has her hand in a lot of different things at church now.
But she's completely redoing the website.
She is,
and most of it is already up, so you can go check that out.
And so he had the brilliant idea, and I do give him his flowers for this, to replace the graphic where it says, well, what was it?
Listen now,
where you can click on the website to hear the podcast. He said, hey, can we change this to the now iconic saying, hey, listen, which is in the opener and closer of our podcast. And that was a great idea.
Yeah, I think it works.
You did.
It's like the FedEx, PGA championship at FedEx, where they put hush y'all. Yeah. That's what it says when they're in Memphis.
Hush y'all.
Instead of quiet,
yeah,
hold up signs that says hush y'all.
Of course.
That's funny.
Yeah. Hey,
so, welcome into Seymour from the Front Pew podcast. This is going to be an interesting kind of a hodgepodge episode.
I have something to bring up.
Okay.
I'm tired right now because for 2 nights in a row, I have stayed up later than I should have.
That means he's
to watch
watching
UT Sports.
To watch UT Sports.
There you go, buddy.
Look at that.
What? I sent a text to my dad.
Watch the guys game?
You've got us
on Saturday
now
night.
You're going to have to keep watching because we're winning.
On Saturday night, I was ready to go to bed at like 7:30 p.m., I think. But anyway, Saturday night, UT played at what? 9:40. 9:50. The game's about to start. My dad's birthday was Sunday. And I texted him and I said, on this, the eve of your day of birth, I will watch Tennessee play basketball for 10 minutes and cheer for them as your birthday gift. And I wound up watching all the way to halftime because it was dadgum good. It was a good game. And Leah keeps rolling her eyes at me because I even last night watching the Lady Vols game, at one point.
They're fun to watch.
They are a lot of fun to watch. But Everett and I are really into it. Leah was not. And I said something about we something, and she went, we?
Yes.
I said, well, they're not playing Florida State right now.
That thrills my soul.
I'm not. I'm just.
Yes, you are.
It hurts. It hurts.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
It's hurting less and less every day.
It is very fun to watch, but it really hurts.
Yeah. I mean, like, the ladies are.
The ladies is not as hard.
It is a fun game to watch.
But Florida State girls look good, too. So,
yeah.
They're playing some good ball right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, that was for free.
Oh.
I'm still just waiting when UT goes down, then everybody's brackets get busted around here, and then it's like prime time for everything else.
You're assuming.
Well, you're right. Yeah, the next big game is
Kentucky
on the boys' side.
My bracket actually shows Tennessee beating Kentucky. It's really hard to beat a team 3 times in one season.
Yep.
So
we are literally going to be somewhere in the Mediterranean.
We are, and
I wondered how that was going to work.
I mean, like it's going to. I don't know what time the game is.
It's a 7:30 tip off, which means for us it's 2.
Yeah, it'll be 2:30 in the morning, and I believe we will be on a.
We're going to be on a boat.
Yeah, we'll be on a boat. So
you gonna watch it?
I don't know if we'll be able to. I mean, like
who knows?
Yeah. So
anyway, they got Wi-Fi.
I would hope.
If you're sleeping on a boat, they've got to have Wi-Fi.
I'm hoping that there will be like a sports bar or something where we can go just sit and watch it. Or
At 2 a.m.
Because that's where you want to hang out at 2:30 a.m.
Two pastors walk into a sports bar at 2 a.m.
It's okay. You're halfway
never-
across the world. You're probably not going to run
it
into
never
anybody.
calms.
What happens in the Mediterranean stays in the Mediterranean.
The ship never calms down. So I mean, like
Walk into
at least
the bar.
not typically. So anyway,
You can see half the church there.
yeah. So anyway, we'll see what happens.
Oh, so anyway,
Anyway, sorry, I got aside.
one of us may return, the other may not. So this episode is going to be a bit of a hodgepodge. We wanted to give an update for those maybe not plugged into everything that's going on at Seymour First Baptist Church. Last year, we kind of laid out our vision for some construction and some remodeling and some rejuvenation and growing and whatever you want to call it, that's going to go on around the church. And it's taken some time.
Yeah,
It's taken some time for us to
every
get
step
there.
has taken longer than we expect.
But we thought we would give you a little bit of a update about where we stand on some of those projects, and the key aspects being, and I'll turn it over to you. But this is what do we call this initial phase?
Yeah, I would call this the initial
phase, and we're redoing our kids ministry area, kind of a pretty good size makeover, just to make that place more accessible, appealing, functional on a lot of different levels. We've got that. We've got the roof that's going to take place. We've desperately needed the roof for a while now, but
or a roof.
I was going to say roof.
Roof.
Are you
The
a
roof.
dog?
The roof. The roof. It's not on fire.
The roof is on fire.
I'm sorry. Then we have the parking and entrances, where we are going to eventually go away from the single entrance to have two entrances and exits, and adding additional parking and redoing our parking lot to where it's not one way.
Yeah.
So all of that is underway right now. And so kind of give us an update where we are.
Yeah, let me start with probably what we'll have the first work
Chronologically.
Yeah.
The roof.
The roof, yes. The roof is really not a part of what the vision team was doing, but it is essential to the vision team's work.
Yeah.
The roof on the building is as old as the building, so we are roughly 30 years old at this point in time, and it has had major issues for at least the last 5 years, and we have patched and we have tried to string along. Part of the reason is because really when I got here, capital reserves were not in a spot where we could have done anything. I mean, this is a pretty major undertaking, and so when we started to really press into the kids ministry area, well, 2-3 of the major leaks are right in that area, and so we don't want to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into this area only to have the roof leak and it to damage all of that. And so pretty soon, as we were really getting into that project, realized we need to go ahead and get the roof done. And so we do have the money in capital reserves for that. So even though that was included in the financial outlook or the financing that we talked about, we don't really have a plan to finance that part. We will pay for that out of our capital reserves. But that work should be starting in the next week or two. I would expect it to take a couple weeks. It's a pretty major portion. There won't be a lot of look change.
Can't really see a lot.
Right. The metal around the building, the metal roofing around the building is still in good shape. Most of the parts where it has deteriorated are our flat roof and the areas where the flat roof joins with the metal. And I won't even speculate as to why all of that, but this new roof, we are putting in all new flat roof. We are actually, there was some area where we had some low slope metal, and we are covering that with flat roof. And then we are also getting some roof accesses. Right now, if you want to get on the roof, it's not very easy. You have to figure out a series of ladders or lifts or whatever else to move to get up there, and so we are creating roof hatches and ways to get to it, to access it from inside the building, which will be much better. But it is a pretty major project. We are also, with all of that, we are addressing the steeple. The steeple has some issues going on with it. It has shifted and moved over time, and that's caused leaks in and around that. If you're in the choir room regularly, you know that those are there. And so that'll actually be a different company. It won't be the roof company. It'll be a steeple company. They will come in, resure everything. Then the finish is gone off of it. Again, not surprising. It's been 30 years. Those are gel coat finishes typically. And so the roofing company has suggested a refinish on that. And so they are going to take care of repairing and sanding and priming and painting and doing all that needs to do to refinish the same steeple that is there. And so all that work should be starting here over the next few weeks, and will continue. I mean, from now, we're probably talking about for at least a month or two that work, those two things will be continuing on from there. So, that's the first major thing. And then shortly after that, we should be beginning to look at children's project. And so I'm going to let Jason kind of speak into where we are on all of that and what's going on with it.
Yeah, I mean, so we're ready to go. We're just, again, waiting on, I guess, contractors. And at one point, I think there's still one thing that has to go through one of the phases before we can get to that. But even yesterday, we were at church yesterday, and I went to pick up my boys. I pick up Preston, and as I was coming out, man, I was standing there literally with just that one door is the in and out of our kids area. And it was at a time where there were a lot of families that were coming in, either dropping their kids off or coming to get their kids to pick them up for service. And I'm just happened to be taking Preston out while all this is happening. I'm like, man, I am so ready for this entrance.
It's a bottleneck.
So ready for this to open up. And right now the plan is for that section's going to open up to about 12 feet. So rather than the one door, we're opening up to a 12-foot section that's I think is going to be, to me, is going to be the biggest impact.
Yeah, and that man door will actually still be there.
Yes,
so we're getting
the
door plus an opening of about 12 foot. Yeah.
Yeah, and other than that, other than the actual entrance opening up and just the feel of all of that, the graphics and the look that they're going to bring through, really excited about that. Kids worship table is going to move from the foyer into a little section in that entrance there as well. So that'll open up some space in our foyer area, but also tie in that kids worship table to our kids ministry area. And so just really excited for that. And on top of that, one of the things that never was in the full scope of the Vision Project as we were looking at it from the beginning, but as we started looking at, we're getting ready to overhaul this entrance. And the floors in the kids area have never been touched. I mean, it's I don't know how long those floors have been in there. I would venture a guess that they're pretty original.
Yeah, I would
pretty
think
close
so.
to it.
Yeah,
and so being able to go through and change the floors in all of the classrooms and all the hallways, really just kind of updating all of that space. To kind of move forward.
Yeah, and so
excited about that.
Yeah, and I'd say with that, what has happened with that is, so through the visioneering process, we knew the entry, and so that is kind of the construction element is opening up that wall, which is not a minor feat because that's a 4-hour firewall. So you have to figure out how to open up that wall and maintain its fire rating and all that other stuff, which they've got it all figured out. Opens up that entry a lot better, but then again, it's grown, but in a very good way for us. The flooring needs to be altered and changed, and if you're going to have the front of that so well done, it needs to flow all the way through. Well, as we've gone through the design process, we got into a contract with a group called Enviropop, who is really just creative design. They have designed our vinyls that'll be on the wall and all of those types of things, and realized that there was a fairly economical way to continue some of the design through the rest of the kids area. So our doors will have some vinyls that help them to stand out, help kids to be able to identify their rooms, carry our mission and vision and purpose into the rest of the kids ministry area. And so not a big add-on, but as far as cost wise, but a big add on as far as feel wise. It should
Functionality.
Yeah, it ought to add a lot of continuity from the check in area all the way through the rest of the kids area, which I think is going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
And truthfully, it's going to radically change and make the entire appearance of that whole kids ministry area. Now, when you come into the lobby, there's going to be absolutely no question of where you take your kids.
Right.
Yes.
And which is a wonderful win. Right now, we have a tiny sign that you have to be able to find that goes to this little hallway in the one door.
Yep.
And so now when visitors are coming, and that's what we want to have an eye toward is making sure that people understand the flow and where they need to go if they come with their kids.
Yeah.
And this will answer that. And it also will. There's going to be aspects of this that spill over even into other parts of the lobby because we're
hoping so.
The Connection Center is hopefully going to get maybe a little bit of a touch up there to help so that those areas can kind of talk to each other and look like it was meant to be. And then eventually, when we get to the next phases and we're building more, this will kind of give you a primer into what the rest of the church.
And again, because this is initial phase, there's a lot of stuff to come behind this if God continues to work and move and lead the way He is. And so we are super excited about doing this in a way that sets the stage for what is ahead. And so the kids area is a big drive of that area. And so with that, that is a drive of part of the financing, being able to continue to pay for that. But at the same time, I would remind everyone that the drive of all this is our vision fund. And our vision fund is where I hope that we make all of our payments for all the financing that we're doing. But if we continue to raise money while we're doing the project, it means we're borrowing less. So if we can raise $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 while we're in this construction phase and process, then that's money that we don't have to borrow, and it's money that we don't have to pay interest on. And it's money that we don't have to worry about trying to pay back. And so there's a lot of me that would love to get through this whole project and not borrow very much at all or at all. And really the Vision Fund is the main drive of that. So it would remind you to be prayerful about being a part of that, and especially as we start to see all this work going on, as we start to see the roof starting to take place and hopefully within the month, demo to start taking place on the kids ministry area where those walls are coming down and you're going to get to see the opening in the firewall. We may not be able to use it quite yet. We'll figure out what that looks like. But I would just encourage you to be prayerful about your participation in the Vision Fund so that we can see all this done and paid for well so that we can move on to the next steps that are behind all this.
So the next aspect that we wanted to talk about, obviously, and the one that probably appeals to even more people, is the parking issue right now. Here we are. We're going to talk about how this affects Easter. Easter planning is coming. We've hit over 800 a couple of different times over the recent weeks, which means there's a ton of cars out there, which means it takes a lot of time for some folks to get out of the parking lot after services. And so one of the things that we are discussing is how quickly that we can begin to move some dirt and prepare. Talk about that. We've got the permit process. Obviously, we have to go when we get to Chapman Highway. You deal with TDOT and a lot of different things that have to a lot of hurdles to get over there. However, aspects of this we could do as quickly as tomorrow if we were ready to pull the trigger.
And we're getting close. So we got news last week that we're getting close from one element. So there's two main permitting approval processes. One is Sevier County wastewater master plan. They have to see how if we're going to add this much asphalt. Pavement and asphalt, what does that do for water? Where does it run? Kind of those environmental impacts, all those other types of things. From my understanding, is we got approval on that for the master plan last week from Sevier County, and so.
For the whole master
plan.
For
the whole master plan,
which is all the future parking and everything.
Correct. All of the future, all of that. So all the way across the front, all the way down the side. Now, what that doesn't do is it still doesn't give us approval for those entrances because TDOT still has to approve those entrances. And if TDOT alters those entrances,
that's going to change.
Then we have to go back to the master plan and go back down through Sevier County. So there's this It's like one before the other, like
Dominoes,
it's all of that or whatever else. So, but with that, with moving forward with Sevier County, what we may be able to do and what we are hoping to be able to do very quickly is to take, I don't know why it ever got named this, but like the U area where we do trunk or treat. That is, if you come in the main entrance on the Knoxville side, it is the grassy area immediately to your right. Once you are at the parking lot, where the food trucks have set up and all of those types of things, because that is not really connected to the new entrances, we may be able to go ahead and start pushing dirt and getting groundwork ready. And what I'd really love is to get that to gravel, because at gravel we can use it for parking lot. We may have to stripe it a couple times, here and there, but we can get it to gravel. Let people start using that parking. We believe that will be an additional 50 to 70 parking spaces if we can get that there. And so go ahead and get that in, get that going, get that usable, and then we'll continue to work the process with TDOT to be able to get the approval on the entrances. And then again, as soon as we are ready for that, if we get those approvals, then financing is in place. We can start the project. And so the plan will be to get both entrances in, probably the Knoxville side entrance first with the middle one. Then working through the Sevierville side entrance once it is ready, then the middle one goes away. And then there'll be two entrances, and then there will be a parking lot the parking lot at that point in time will not go fully around the building. Because once you take out that middle entrance, there may not actually be a pathway all the way around. So, but there's a lot of ways that could make some things safer too. We've got, on MVP days especially, most of our kiddos that are trying to get to the soccer fields are having to walk that back parking lot to and from their games. Well, right now, every car that enters our parking lot has to go around that way. And so hopefully we can get a little bit of a safety element to where every car's not having to drive where every kid is having to walk. And so I think it can get a little bit safer for everybody. But we are hoping that just in the next little bit that those can start to move and take place. The lower parking lot where we did gravel sat for almost 2 years before we put pavement on it. I actually think that was really good. That gravel got really settled and good before we put paving on top of it. So if we can get that to rock, even if it only sits for a season or two, even if it only sits for a month or two, it may be really, really good to let that settle and get sealed, or get the rock settled so that we don't have issues once we start putting paving over top of it and everything. So, yeah.
And obviously the key in there is we want to get to two entrances as quickly as we can, because another 50 or 60, 75 cars trying to get out the same entrance is not going to be, it's not going to be great, but it's a part of the growing pains. I mean, we're trying the best we can to get there.
Yeah. And we're seeing some movement. I mean, it felt like we were going months and months and months without seeing movement on our exterior stuff on the civil side. And we're seeing some movement right now. And so excited to see what that looks like over the next little bit. Again, we are really poised to do work as soon as we can do work.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will all begin taking place here before long. So it is possible that we will have 3 different projects going on at the same time over the next month and a half. So
we could have dirt moving. More than likely, we will have dirt moving before Easter.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I have learned to hedge my bets just a little bit, but yes, I am very hopeful of that. And with that, I would say,
let's talk about that.
Yeah. Parking at Easter is always a problem. It has been handled really, really well. Our people do a great job with that. But we said we've popped up over 800 a couple different times. Those are for non-holiday Sundays, NHSs. About that non-holiday Sunday. I don't name it. So last Easter we had 1,100. And so we talk about a problem at 800. It's going to be a problem at 1,100. So we've got a couple different options. One is that our people that we're encouraging to work one and serve one, we would also encourage you to go park at Ashley's. Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to run the shuttle all day long. It's not going to have a stopping point. It's going to keep running all the way through. But really, if our people, if you are a regular attender, if you're able to do that in any way, it would be a huge help for you to be able to park over there. If we can get 50, 60 cars over there, would be a great help. And so the bus will run. It'll be moving and help you to do that. We will have parking maybe in the U with gravel. We'll see. But if not, we'll probably have parking there either way unless it's a muddy mess. And we'll have parking on and off the building, on and off everywhere in the building as best we can. So
why don't you enlighten us as to the worship plan for Easter from sunrise all the way through?
Yeah, let's rewind just a little bit from that. Last year we decided to have a crucifixion service.
Yeah.
And so you'll see that as we kind of advertise Easter and as it's coming up. The crucifixion service is on Maundy Thursday, which is Thursday night before Easter. And so we've moved our Easter egg hunt back a week so that we are not overloading that weekend. So Easter egg
I would have said
hunt.
moved it up a week. It's earlier. Anyway, no, sorry.
Sure. I don't know. It's on the roof. So Easter egg hunt is a week and it's 10 days before Easter.
Yeah.
And then crucifixion service is on Monday, Thursday night. It's a lot of people ask those questions about what that looks like. It is, yes, it's family friendly. It's not some kind of, you're not going to walk in and watch the crucifixion scene from Passion of the Christ or anything, but it's kind of similar to our Christmas Eve service, and it's scripture and music as we just walk through the crucifixion, and I guess actually from the Last Supper to the crucifixion.
Yeah,
and then sunrise service is a special time. Again, if you have questions, the sunrise service is not the same as our two worship services.
Yeah.
It is outside. It's on the grassy knoll, as it were, outside of the offices with Tractor Supply and the sunrise in the background.
Right.
And it's been a cool, what's the word? Not tradition, but a thing we do. I guess it's a tradition. So
We haven't been doing it very long.
no, it's this. Did you do it the year before I was here?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it every year. I've been here.
Oh wait, hold on. You didn't have an Easter without me.
No, you're
So,
right.
yeah.
So
This
this
will
will
be
be
the
our
fifth
fifth year. Yeah.
You didn't have
You
an
can't
Easter
have
without
Easter
me.
without Austin. It's never Easter without Austin.
So,
But it's only about a 30-minute service. It's
I
not.
don't even think it's that
and,
long.
yeah, right.
it's-
And so it is not a long service. To me, it is not meant to be a replacement for
No.
being at
no.
worship on.
No, it's just a special time.
Yes,
it's
it's
intimate.
It's an opportunity to drink coffee and eat donuts.
Yes, there are coffee and donuts beforehand.
And there are people that are dressed in the
Freeze.
nines and people that are dressed in their pajamas.
Yep, my kids come in their pajamas every
Yep,
year.
mine do
we
too.
put their clothes in my office, and then they just they roll out of bed and come.
Yep.
I
And
may
then,
try that.
Yeah. I always bring a change of clothes because it's so stinking cold every year. But anyway, so sunrise service is at sunrise, which this year is looking like 6:55, I think.
Something like
You mean to check?
I'm pretty positive I'm spot on right there.
Okay.
And then he's Googling my answer.
He's going to make it 6:56 just to change it for you.
It looks like sunrise that day is around 6:55.
I think I looked that up like 8
Right
months
there
ago.
it is. You are correct, sir.
Ding, 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 ding. Raise the roof.
Hold on. Wait. Oh, I went wrong way. So,
Quick
whoa!
on-
Oh my
The
goodness!
quick on the
anticipation. That
buttons.
was a letdown for all that wait. There we go.
Let's hit all of them.
Shelby's not hearing any of this. She's
I know.
just seeing you. It's like Ross playing the keyboard. So yeah. Anyway, and then we do 2 services. Then afterwards, if you are not in worship ministry, you can come be a part of donuts and coffee and just hang out, or you can run back home and change if you want. But then 2 services, 8:30
Yep.
right? And
8:30 and 10:15.
And they are identical. They're the exact same thing, and they're repetitive and redundant. And so, yeah, it's a good time. Choir, orchestra, everybody will lead, and Corey will preach. He is only allotted 22 minutes on Easter Sunday as opposed to 25 every other. And Tiger's announcements will be 432 minutes long.
Sean did far longer than my announcements yesterday.
I don't think so.
No.
We it is needed though extra help on Easter as far as
very much
different
so.
areas and stuff like that. So everything from parking lot to greeters to children's workers to just all there's so many different things. And if you are interested in helping with any of that, then there's a sign up sheet at the connection desk, and so would love for you to sign up and make a plan to be a part of serving.
There's also, I'm assuming we're having a photo booth thing again
there will
this
be.
year. So just a reminder
already been
that's
started.
always a fun time to go down. We even have volunteers who will take your photo for you, so you don't have to hunt out.
Yep.
So once you're all gussied up, go get your picture.
Yeah.
And one of the things, you may wonder why the time disparity there between 8:30 and 10:15 is so that the parking lot can kind of
Clear out.
turn over and hopefully make room for more people. And I mean, it's untelling what we're looking at.
Yeah, it worked
for that
last year. I
particular
mean,
day.
it worked pretty well last year. So we're hoping
it
that
evened
will
out
get-
really well.
Yes.
And it's not like we're assigning people to a service. It just God blessed us with
The other big thing about Easter Sunday is that at 1:00 I'll be sleeping.
Yeah. Good luck.
I remember last year Easter, it was like I went home. We had lunch and everything. Went home, and I didn't even stop. I just walked right upstairs and I just laid in the bed.
Yeah.
This wasn't a watch TV kind of Sunday afternoon. It was I'm going to bed.
Very good. Well, I mean, the one thing I want to pick back up as we end on the vision stuff is I've had several people that have been new over the last year since we presented this the first time and haven't gotten a chance to really understand what's going on. One is do ask questions. Like I've had several people ask questions. You're not bothering us. Like we would love to talk with you about those things. But two is there is a great resource on our website. So if you go to seymourfbc.org/vision, and if you're watching this, maybe Shelby can have it linked there somewhere close by. But it has a year ago when our vision team presented everything, it has the video of that night. And then it also has a PDF version of the documents and the initial designs. Now, the designs, even for the kids ministry area right now, those are going to look different and than what it was initially in that design a year ago.
You can go to /vision, or if you're on your phone or computer, you can go to About Us, and you go down a little bit, and it says SFBC Vision right there.
There we go. So you can catch that on the About Us tab now. And so would encourage you to go check those things out. And if you've got questions, again, feel free to ask us. We would love to help with any of those things. Again, the what is behind this is what will hopefully, if God continues to grow and move or whatever else, is what will be needed for us to be able to stay in one service, one Sunday school, all of those types of things, which is the likelihood of a new sanctuary. And so would encourage you just, again, to continue to be prayerful over all of that, prayerful over your involvement, your service, your giving, all of those types of things as we continue to see God work and move and lay out what is ahead for us through this vision process.
Yeah. So there you have it. A little update for you. For those of you that may not be aware of where we stand and all of that, we're excited about what God's doing, and it's finally here.
Yeah.
It's finally to the point where we're pretty dang sure within the next few weeks things are going to be happening.
Yeah.
And we're excited about that. And hopefully that'll build a little excitement amongst everybody, because I think everybody kind of senses the fact that it's time that God's working, and that, these things are just a foregone conclusion as to what needs to happen. So thank you for tuning in to the Seymour from the Front Pew podcast. These two are going to be checking out, and these two are going to be having fun while the
Cats
Away and the mice are going to play. So they're going to be offering something within the next week that you
We don't know.
probably will be shocking to us.
Yes.
Halfway around the world.
That. If they go eat without me again, I'm gonna be mad.
Oh,
We're
they
definitely
will. They're
going to
definitely
eat.
going
That's
to eat.
going to happen.
I can
It's happening.
promise you that the podcast next week will be at a restaurant.
They'll be nutritionally well off. All right. Thanks again for tuning in. Like, share, hit us up if you have any questions or comments. We appreciate you. Say bye, fellas.
See ya.
Ah.
Thank you for listening to Seymour from the Front Pew. Our sole desire for this podcast is to glorify God by educating and encouraging His body. If you would like to learn more about anything you've heard today, feel free to reach out by email at staff@seymourfbc.org or by visiting our website at seymourfbc.org. If you're located near our community and do not have a church home, come worship with us at 10:15 a.m. on Sunday morning. Until then, we pray God's richest blessings on you and yours as you love God, love others, make disciples, and live the life.